Welcome back, esports fans, and we are starting with our second game of the day, the 7:30 game against Akron. Akron? We'll go with Akron. Saying Akron sounds like I'm saying acorn. Looking like we are starting off snow with no Ds and an immediate goal by Snap within 4 seconds. I remember saying last game that a minute 30 in was long, but Snap just proving it right. Snow and Snap trying to send it across, but immediately gets fought back. Snap stealing it. And demoed Buckster. Oh no, that was Snow, not Snap. Like, wrong name. Sorry, Snow. Diminishing your demolition capabilities. Shadow steals the ball away from the goal. I do not know what happened to Zinker there. Looking like he just fell asleep. Yeah, it looks like he's having some connectivity issues. It'd be hilarious if the ball bounced off of him. Oh, Snap tried to line it up. Got another demo on Buckster. Who immediately turns around and scores. Maybe he's feeling a little vindictive. Although the flowers say otherwise. Snap. Sending the ball immediately to where nobody is. Shots and Shadow get demoed. Like Shadow and Snap are there trying to fight it. Snow immediately flies in from the sky. Hands it to Shadow, who then scores. Love to see it. Like a fake out from Shadow, where Buckster ends up stealing it. Snow steals it back though. Snap and Snow just battling over it. Demoed shots. Snow juggling it only for shots to steal it back. Almost got sent in. Shots, basically having a hug, only to turn around and see Shadow score. Snow sends it across, where Shock steals it. Not for very long though. Shadow holds on to it only for Snow to bounce it away. Sent across by Snap, where Shadow picks it up. Snap, it looked like. Shadow over there juggling it into the corner. Shocks tries his hand to steals it. Got a demo on Buckster again. Careful there, guys. He's gonna get angry. Oh, Zinker is back. He lives. Snow trying to line it up. Almost got handed it by Snap. Shadow saving it from the goal. Buckster tries to steal it from Shadow, managing on the second time. It's sent all the way back to our corner where Snap grabs it. Almost Snow. Where Shocks knocks it in. Shadow tries to bounce it away. Zinker sends it into the corner where Shocks picks it up. Snap saving it from being on our side again. 30 seconds remain. Currently 3-2. Shadow's chasing it down. Sends it back across the line. Where Shocks was waiting for it. Sends it back to Snap. Got a demo on Snap, unfortunately. Twice. Snap. Hands it off to Snow where it lands on the ground. Love to see it. Yeah, it looks like, I think Zinker was his name. Disconnected or something. Just now realized that the crowd says we want more. Didn't actually think they said anything. There he is. Zinker is spectating currently. Do love that Akron's team is named Zips. It's kind of fun. Starting off, sounding just like an F1 race. Got an immediate demo on Snow. If I know anything about Snow, that's only gonna help. Seen it at least twice today. Snow up there flying after it like a little rocket. Zinker steals it back, only for Shadow to knock it out of his hands. A little bit of a fight there where Snap grabs it. Shock steals it back. Snow looks to be hanging back, and Shadow just casually rolls it on in. Like a bowling ball, look at this. Shadow knocks it, and it just gently rolls on in. Love to see it. How's it going, Process? Immediate fight over here in this corner. Unlike Shadow and Snow are going to keep it out of the goal area. Worked out very well. It's now on their side. Immediate demo on Zinker. We just couldn't let it lie with just being disconnected. We got a demo. Am I ready for data analytics quiz? I think so, yes. Honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'm a weird person who likes quizzes. Snap, babying it, send it immediate into the goal. Making us enjoy some more Imperial March. I don't know how well that mixes with the gifts emote. Snow fighting over it. Unfortunately, it got sent across. I don't think anybody intended for that. Least of all Zinker. He's already been having issues with his connectivity. Look like some emote fun there in the chat. How's it going, Lauren? Snow fighting it around. Shox is the only one there from the enemy team over there in that corner. Ooh, Zinker gets intercepted by Snow out of that goal. Love to see it. Buckster tries his shot, misses. Snow is flying up in the air and gets it. Handed it off to Snap, I believe. Yes. Snow flies up in the air, lines it up, and Snap takes the shot. I guess I'll interpret it as the gift of the Imperial March. There we go. Like immediate bite over here in the goal area. Snap knocks it away. Zinker tries to get it back in, but it looks like everybody else is there to intercept it. Snap knocks it onto their side, into their goal this time. Goal area. Shadow tries to send it back across that line. But it looks like it's just going to ride the line for a minute here. Snow finding it in himself to become a bird over there to intercept the ball. Almost all the way across the field there. Snap proving that he's at least worth 2 Zinkers, handing it off to Shadow to get the goal. That's what we like to see. It was some good speed from Shadow. Unfortunately, Snap got demoed. Getting batted around like a baseball over here. Keeping it in the air, sending it back across, where Shadow sends it directly on in. That's what we like to see. Oh yeah. There was no chance Zinker could keep up with it. His poor internet. Shadow fighting for it, gets it knocked into their area where Zinker steals it back. But Snap sends it snappily on back. Everyone seems jolly today. Ah, yes, it's because Process mentioned a test. Immediate goal by Snow. Looked like Shadow flew it across the way where Snow just lined it on up. Yep. And I don't know what's wrong with Zinker. He looked like he was asleep again. It's not good to be asleep at the wheel. Snap immediately, right off the bat. Just following the ball all the way to the goal. Looking like a bad fake out, but Snow saves it from the goal. Twice now. Snow and Snap keeping it in the air. Got intercepted by Buckster. Snap intercepts again. Sends it off to Buckster. Shadow is going to interrupt their juggling session. Buckster is going to do his best attempt at a ballerina there in the air. Snap saving it from the goal. Just barely off of landing on the ground. Where I believe that was Shocks who knocked it into the ground. Is that quiz tomorrow or Monday? Honestly, I can't remember. I'll have to go home and double check. Along with double checking that my dual boot still works, because I believe I still have some work for Coach. I did, however, figure out how to use Winboat so I can use Excel natively on Linux now, though. Thank goodness for Winboat. Alrighty, immediate fight off the line. There is no fake out by Snow. Although we are going to attempt our best to try at being a ballerina. Spinning around in the air there. Snap getting it out of the corner. Shadow sending it across. Got a demo on Buckster. Shadow stealing it away from their juggling session, sending it back. Got intercepted. Snap trying his best to copy. Zinker scored. Going from having internet issues to showing us what his emote looks like. With like a whole bunch of grass. Who wants to touch grass in this game? Snow and Snap immediately running into each other. There goes Snow. Snap knocking it back. Good old jolly game of baseball. Almost got it into the goal. Zinker scored again. Looks like he figured out what in the world was happening to his connectivity issues. Or they finally fed him some Red Bull. We gotta steal that back from him. Gotta send in the Space Monkeys to steal his Red Bulls from him. Snap sending it across the line. And Snow lined it up for an immediate goal. See, I told you the Space Monkeys would work. He stole his Red Bull. Snap almost looked like he was going for a fake out, but he did not. Immediately onto the orange side, which is thankfully the enemy side. Snow knocking it away from our side, although he did seem to headbutt somebody. I think that was Buckster. Snap holding on to the ball. Although he did get demoed. Almost. Buckster almost helped us out there. Buckster trying to keep it in the corner, gets it stolen by Shadow, who then immediately turns around and demos Zinker. You know, I think I figured it out. Zinker is the asleep thinker. I think occasionally he falls asleep. Buckster sends it across the line. I told you to be careful about demoing Buckster. He's coming back for a vengeance. And I think that was a horse. Got a fake out, sent it all the way to Snap. He's gonna try to fight Shocks in here. But again, Zinker comes in and shows us what in the world grass is. Schmacked says it was today at 9:25 a.m. I do not believe so. No. I don't have data analytics on Tuesday. Shadow over there fighting. Shocks is going to prove that he actually exists in the game. Fake out by Snap, I believe that was, only to get the ball hit at him. Yeah, I couldn't get a good shot up of Shadow there. I almost thought he was there on top of it. He was, actually. I guess it slipped around him. Immediate fighting, where Snow knocks it out of the area. Twice now. Like Shadow's gonna keep it in the air, or Buckster is gonna try and steal it. Again with the nasty green stuff. Fight over where Snap is. Got a demo on Snap and Zinker. Snap and Shadow trying to follow that ball and keep it out of their hands. Although it does look like Snap got demoed. And Snow got demoed. But Shadow comes out of nowhere to help Snap keep it away from them. Zinker hands it off to Shocks over there. 1 minute remaining. Snow over there trying to intercept it for Snap to get demoed. Seconds remaining. We got some fighting over in their goal area. Zinker and Shadow are going to be fighting it out. Snow joins the fight. Looks like Buckster got demoed. Looks like Orange is gonna take this round. Alrighty, immediately, looks like everybody went back on the start. It's worked out because Snow immediately gets it into their area where it was stolen. Shadow keeping it away from the goal, love to see it. Snow just ignoring the fact that Shocks was there. Shadow keeping it up in the air, lining up for Snow. Love to see it. Oh yeah, just came in over there from the corner. Keeping it away from Buckster. The world may never know if Snow was trying to go for a fake out, because he still touched the ball. Which is okay, because Shadow's right behind him guarding that goal. And I froze for a split second there. That's okay, because I get to tune back in as the ball is being held in the corner over here. It's sent across. Snow is babying it. Got stolen by Shocks. Stolen back by Shadow. And Snap scores. I might be a tad biased for Snap scoring because of the Imperial March. I'm sorry about saying that. Immediate fake out where Snow hands it off to Snap. Snow's gonna try for his best impression of the Artemis 2 rocket. Saving it from the goal. Shadow keeping it in the air. Got stolen back by Shocks. Hands it off to Snow, where Snow and Snap got demoed. Snap and Snow taking the opportunity to guard the goal, though. Snap sending it back. Where Shadow... Oh, I thought he was just about to line it on up. Shocks just barely edges it out. It did hit the rim up there. Bounced all the way from the starting line over there to Shadow. Stayed back a little bit, but that didn't stop him from sending it across the line. Almost sent in by Snap, who's going to try and line himself up. Gets it knocked out of his hands by Zinker. Snow saves the goal. Boxer's trying to follow it. Shocks intercepts. And is trying, but gets interrupted by Snow. Snow is showing that Buckster can't just fly. Snow did get demoed, though. Shock scores. Yes, that is his second goal. I do love that instead of any form of sound effect, he just goes for the explosion whiteout of your ears. Immediate demo of Snap. That's okay. He flew out of nowhere. Snow saving our goal. Like a corner fight just again, but Snow saves us from that fate. Interrupting the pace. Shadow is going to try and follow it, but Zinker steals it back. Almost. Unfortunately, Buckster was there. Shadow interrupts him, where Snow steals it back. Snow keeping it up in the air there, keeping it out of their hands. Like that was, yep, just dribbled out of Snap's hands there. Snap is gonna physically hold them out of our side. Immediately gets knocked into the back corner over there. Zinker, thank goodness it was stolen from him. Gets knocked out of his way by Shadow, where Buckster tries to answer. Almost got it stolen out of his hands, where Snow interrupts though. And Snap is going to try and fly along the sky with it. Shadow borrows the ball real quick. Where we got a demo of Buckster. Thankfully, this is a best of 5. So whoever wins the next one, the game goes to. Snap saving it, only to get demoed. Snap and Snow following it. Snow keeping it away. Shadow trying to keep it away from the goal. Thankfully, Snap helps him out and knocks it out of his hands. Shadow flies along the ceiling, keeping it out of their way. Snap is going to hold it into this corner. Snow is going to fight him over there in that corner. Got a demo of Snow, unfortunately. Just a boxing match here in the center. Snap knocks it out, tries to knock out a corner. Gets helped out. And almost. Bit of a juggling match there. Gets stolen and knocked out of the way by Snow. Where Shocks tries to answer and gets demoed for it. Snow keeping it out of the goal. Love to see it. Trying to stay on top of it. Don't think that's going to help him too much. As Snap immediately turns around and scores. Which actually makes this the longest goal Longest time to make a goal yet in 2 games. Snow immediately fighting over the ball there in the center. Shadow almost lined it up perfectly. Immediate demo of him, unfortunately. Looks like they were just gonna try and get him back. Buckster up there twirling and trying to do his thing. Gets interrupted by Snow, then got stolen back by Snap. Not only that, but Shocks gets demoed. Buckster and Snap are gonna fight it out. Ends up with Zinker demoed. Shadow is gonna fly along the ceiling trying to get it, but Buckster interrupts. Twice. Shocks gets interrupted by Snow, sending it back across the field. Almost, but Shocks interrupts. Snap keeps it out of the way. And Buckster tries to answer in kind, where Shadow gets demoed. There we go, Snow. Looks like it was just a perfect fight. Snap was actually there too. If he had popped up, it would have still gone on in. Snap and Shadow fighting over the ball. Looks like Snow is staying back to keep it out of the goal. Shadow immediately answering in kind. Keeping it away. There we go, twice now. One minute remaining. Looking like Shocks is gonna celebrate that by getting to watch us score. Score to an Imperial March, in fact. The best kind of score. Shadow immediately gets demoed. Not only did he knock it across the line, he gets demoed. Snap doesn't let that rest. He sends it back across where Zinker tries to steal it. Snow gets demoed. 30 seconds remaining. Like Shadow and Snap are going to keep it out of the goal. A whole lot of momentum knocked everybody apart there for a second. Zinker and Shocks are going to try, but they keep it in the corner. Snow keeps it out of the goal, knocks it out of the way. And it sounds like we're going to end this with some Imperial March with an LCU win. Love to see that. We will see y'all, I believe, Thursday for some... well, now I just went blank. For another game on Thursday. As it is, we will see y'all later, esports fan. Bye-bye.